Management is the coordination and administration of tasks to achieve a goal. Such administration activities include setting the organization's strategy and coordinating the efforts of staff to accomplish these objectives through the application of available resources. Management is the administration of organizations, whether businesses, nonprofit organizations, or a government bodies through business administration, nonprofit management, or the political science subfield of public administration respectively. It is the process of managing the resources of businesses, governments, and other organizations. Larger organizations generally have 3 hierarchical levels of managers, organized in a pyramid structure. Senior management roles include the board of directors and a chief executive officer, CEO, or a president of an organization. They set the strategic goals and policy of the organization and make decisions on how the overall organization will operate. Senior managers are generally executive-level professionals who provide direction to middle management. Compare governance. Middle management roles include branch managers, regional managers, department managers, and section managers. They provide direction to frontline managers and communicate the strategic goals and policies of senior management to them. Line management roles include supervisors and the frontline team leaders, who oversee the work of regular employees, or volunteers in some voluntary organizations, and provide direction on their work. Line managers often perform the managerial functions that are traditionally considered the core of management. Despite the name, they are usually considered part of the workforce and not part of the organization's management class. Management is taught, both as a theoretical subject as well as a practical application, across different disciplines at colleges and universities. Prominent major degree programs in management include management, business administration, and public administration. Social scientists study management as an academic discipline, investigating areas such as social organization, organizational adaptation, and organizational leadership. In recent decades, there has been a movement for evidence-based management. Definitions. Views on the definition and scope of management include: Henry Fayol, 1841–1925, stated, "To manage is to forecast and to plan, to organize, to command, to coordinate and to control." Fredmund Malik, 1944, defines management as the transformation of resources into utility. Management is included as one of the factors of production, along with machines, materials, and money. Ghislain Delance defines management as a vulnerable force, under pressure to achieve results and endowed with the triple power of constraint, imitation, and imagination, operating on subjective, interpersonal, institutional, and environmental levels. Peter Drucker, 1909–2005, saw the basic task of management as twofold: marketing and innovation. Nevertheless, innovation is also linked to marketing. Product innovation is a central strategic marketing issue. Drucker identifies marketing as a key essence for business success, but management and marketing are generally understood as 2 different branches of business administration knowledge. Management involves identifying the mission, objective, procedures, rules, and manipulation of the human capital of an enterprise to contribute to the success of the enterprise. Scholars have focused on the management of individual, organizational, and inter-organizational relationships. This implies effective communication, an enterprise environment, as opposed to a physical or mechanical mechanism, implies human motivation and implies some sort of successful progress or system outcome. As such, management is not the manipulation of a mechanism, machine or automated program, not the herding of animals, and can occur either in a legal or in an illegal enterprise or environment. From an individual's perspective, management does not need to be seen solely from an enterprise point of view, because management is an essential function in improving one's life and relationships. Management is therefore everywhere and it has a wider range of application. Communication and a positive endeavor are 2 main aspects of it, either through enterprise or through independent pursuit. Plans, measurements, motivational psychological tools, goals, and economic measures, profit, etc., may or may not be necessary components for there to be management. At first, one views management functionally, such as measuring quantity, adjusting plans, and meeting goals, but this applies even in situations where planning does not take place. From this perspective, Henry Fayol, 1841–1925, considers management to consist of 5 functions: planning, forecasting, organizing, commanding, coordinating, controlling. In another way of thinking, Mary Parker Follett, 1868–1933, allegedly defined management as the art of getting things done through people. She described management as a philosophy. Critics, however, find this definition useful but far too narrow. The phrase management is what managers do occurs widely, suggesting the difficulty of defining management without circularity, the shifting nature of definitions and the connection of managerial practices with the existence of a managerial cadre or of a class. One habit of thought regards management as equivalent to business administration and thus excludes management in places outside commerce, for example in charities and in the public sector. More broadly, every organization must manage its work, people, processes, technology, etc. to maximize effectiveness. Nonetheless, many people refer to university departments that teach management as business schools. Some such institutions, such as the Harvard Business School, use that name, while others, such as the Yale School of Management, employ the broader term management. English speakers may also use the term management or the management as a collective word describing the managers of an organization, for example of a corporation. Historically, this use of the term often contrasted with the term labor, referring to those being managed. A common management structure of organizations includes 3 management levels: low-level, middle-level, and top-level managers. Low-level managers manage the work of non-managerial individuals who are directly involved with the production or creation of the organization's products. Low-level managers are often called supervisors, but may also be called line managers, office managers, or even foremen. Middle managers include all levels of management between the low level and the top level of the organization. These managers manage the work of low-level managers and may have titles such as department head, project leader, plant manager, or division manager. Top managers are responsible for making organization-wide decisions and establishing the plans and goals that affect the entire organization. These individuals typically have titles such as executive vice president, president, managing director, chief operating officer, chief executive officer, or board chairman. These managers are classified in a hierarchy of authority and perform different tasks. In many organizations, the number of managers at every level resembles a pyramid. Each level is explained below in specifications of their different responsibilities and likely job titles. The top or senior layer of management is a small group which consists of the board of directors, including non-executive directors, executive directors, and independent directors, president, vice president, CEOs, and other members of the C-level executives. Different organizations have various members in their C-suite, which may include a chief financial officer, chief technology officer, and so on. They are responsible for controlling and overseeing the operations of the entire organization. They set a tone at the top and develop strategic plans, company policies, and make decisions on the overall direction of the organization. In addition, top-level managers play a significant role in the mobilization of outside resources. Senior managers are accountable to the shareholders, the general public, and public bodies that oversee corporations and similar organizations. Some members of the senior management may serve as the public face of the organization, and they may make speeches to introduce new strategies or appear in marketing. The board of directors is typically primarily composed of non-executives who owe a fiduciary duty to shareholders and are not closely involved in the day-to-day activities of the organization. However, this varies depending on the type, example public versus private, size, and culture of the organization. These directors are theoretically liable for breaches of that duty and are typically insured under directors' and officers' liability insurance. Fortune 500 directors are estimated to spend 4.4 hours per week on board duties, and median compensation was $212,512 in 2010. The board sets corporate strategy, makes major decisions such as major acquisitions and hires, evaluates and fires the top-level manager, chief executive officer or CEO. The CEO typically hires other positions. However, board involvement in the hiring of other positions such as the chief financial officer, CFO, has increased. In 2013, a survey of over 160 CEOs and directors of public and private companies found that the top weaknesses of CEOs were mentoring skills and board engagement, and 10% of companies never evaluated the CEO. The board may also have certain employees, example internal auditors, report to them or directly hire independent contractors. For example, the board, through the audit committee, typically selects the auditor. Helpful skills for top management vary by the type of organization but typically include a broad understanding of competition, world economies, and politics. In addition, the CEO is responsible for implementing and determining, within the board's framework, the broad policies of the organization. Executive management accomplishes the day-to-day details, including instructions for the preparation of department budgets, procedures, and schedules, appointment of middle-level executives such as department managers, coordination of departments, media and governmental relations, and shareholder communication. Middle management consists of general managers, branch managers, and department managers. They are accountable to the top management for their department's function. They devote more time to organizational and directional functions. Their roles can be emphasized as executing organizational plans in conformance with the company's policies and the top management's objectives, defining and discussing information and policies from top management to lower management, and most importantly, inspiring and providing guidance to lower-level managers towards better performance. Middle management is the midway management of a categorized organization, being secondary to the senior management but above the deepest levels of operational members. An operational manager may be well thought out by middle management or may be categorized as a non-management operator, liable to the policy of the specific organization. The efficiency of the middle level is vital in any organization since it bridges the gap between top-level and bottom-level staff. Their functions include designing and implementing effective group and intergroup work and information systems, defining and monitoring group-level performance indicators, diagnosing and resolving problems within and among work groups, designing and implementing reward systems that support cooperative behavior, as well as making decisions and sharing ideas with top managers. Line management. Line managers include supervisors, section leaders, forepersons, and team leaders. They focus on controlling and directing regular employees. They are usually responsible for assigning employees tasks, guiding and supervising employees on day-to-day activities, ensuring the quality and quantity of production and/or service, making recommendations and suggestions to employees on their work, and channeling employee concerns that they cannot resolve to mid-level managers or other administrators. Low-level or front-line managers also act as role models for their employees. In some types of work, front-line managers may also do some of the same tasks that employees do, at least some of the time. For example, in some restaurants, the front-line managers will also serve customers during a very busy period of the day. In general, line managers are considered part of the workforce and not part of the organization's proper management despite performing traditional management functions. Front-line managers typically provide training for new employees, basic supervision, motivation, performance feedback and guidance. Some front-line managers may also provide career planning for employees who aim to rise within the organization. Training and education. Further information, business school, public policy school, and College of Arts and Sciences. Colleges and universities around the world offer bachelor's degrees, graduate degrees, diplomas, and certificates in management, generally, within their colleges of business, business schools, or faculty of management, but also in other related departments. Higher education has been characterized as a necessary factor in the managerial revolution in the 20th century. Requirement. While some professions require academic credentials in order to work in the profession, example law, medicine, and engineering, which require, respectively, the Bachelor of Law, Doctor of Medicine, and Bachelor of Engineering degrees, management and administration positions do not necessarily require the completion of academic degrees. Some well-known senior executives in the U.S. who did not complete a degree include Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, and Mark Zuckerberg. However, many managers and executives have completed some type of business or management training, such as a Bachelor of Commerce or a Master of Business Administration degree. Some major organizations, including companies, nonprofit organizations, and governments, require applicants to managerial or executive positions to hold at minimum bachelor's degree in a field related to administration or management, or in the case of business jobs, a Bachelor of Commerce or a similar degree. At the undergraduate level, the most common business programs are the Bachelor of Business Administration, BBA, and Bachelor of Commerce, B.Commander. These typically comprise a 4-year program designed to give students an overview of the role of managers in planning and directing within an organization. Course topics include accounting, financial management, statistics, marketing, strategy, and other related areas. Many other undergraduate degrees include the study of management, such as Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science degrees with a major in business administration or management, and the Bachelor of Arts, BA, or Bachelor of Science, BS, in political science, poli-sci, with a concentration in public administration, or the Bachelor of Public Administration, B.P.A, a degree designed for individuals aiming to work as bureaucrats in the government jobs. Many colleges and universities also offer certificates and diplomas in business administration or management, which typically require 1 to 2 years of full-time study. To manage technological areas, one often needs an undergraduate degree in a STEM area. At the graduate level, students aiming at careers as managers or executives may choose to specialize in major sub-areas of management or business administration, such as entrepreneurship, human resources, international business, organizational behavior, organizational theory, strategic management, 29 accounting, corporate finance, entertainment, global management, healthcare management, investment management, sustainability, and real estate. A Master of Business Administration, MBA, is the most popular professional degree at the master's level and can be obtained from many universities in the United States. MBA programs provide further education in management and leadership for graduate students. Other master's degrees in business and management include Master of Management, MM, and the Master of Science, Master of Science, in Business Administration or Management, which is typically taken by students aiming to become researchers or professors. There are also specialized master's degrees in administration for individuals aiming at careers outside of business, such as the Master of Public Administration, MPA, degree, also offered as a Master of Arts or Master of Science in Public Administration in some universities, for students aiming to become managers or executives in the public service, and the Master of Health Administration, for students aiming to become managers or executives in the healthcare and hospital sector. Management doctorates are the most advanced terminal degrees in the field of business and management. Most individuals obtaining management doctorates take the programs to obtain the training in research methods, statistical analysis, and writing academic papers that they will need to seek careers as researchers, senior consultants, and/or professors in business administration or management. There are several types of management doctorates: the Doctor of Management, DM, the Doctor of Business Administration, DBA, the Doctor of Public Administration, DPA, the PhD in Business Administration, the PhD in Management, and the PhD in Political Science with a concentration in Public Administration. In the 2010s, doctorates in business administration and management were available with many specializations. While management trends can change fast, the long-term trend in management has been defined by a market embracing diversity and a rising service industry. Managers are currently being trained to encourage greater equality of opportunities for minorities and women in the workplace, offering increased flexibility in working hours, better retraining, and innovative, and usually industry-specific, performance markers. Managers destined for the service sector are being trained to use unique measurement techniques, better worker support, and more charismatic leadership styles. Promotion prospects can incentivize performance improvements. Human Resources finds itself increasingly working with management in a training capacity to help collect management data on the success, or failure, of management actions with employees. Good practices identified for managers include walking the shop floor, and, especially for managers who are new in post, identifying and achieving some quick wins which demonstrate visible success in establishing appropriate objectives. Leadership writer John Cotter uses the phrase short-term wins to express the same idea. As in all work, achieving an appropriate work-life balance for self and others is an important management practice. Evidence-based management is an emerging movement to use the current, best evidence in management and decision-making. It is part of the larger movement towards evidence-based practices. Evidence-based management entails managerial decisions and organizational practices informed by the best available evidence. As with other evidence-based practice, this is based on the three principles of published peer-reviewed, often in management or social science journals, research evidence that bears on whether and why a particular management practice works, judgment and experience from contextual management practice, to understand the organization and interpersonal dynamics in a situation and determine the risks and benefits of available actions, and the preferences and values of those affected. In profitable organizations, management's primary function is the satisfaction of a range of stakeholders. This typically involves making a profit, for the shareholders, creating valued products at a reasonable cost, for customers, and providing great employment opportunities for employees. In case of nonprofit management, one of the main functions is keeping the faith of donors. In most models of management and governance, shareholders vote for the board of directors, and the board then hires senior management. Some organizations have experimented with other methods, such as employee voting models, of selecting or reviewing managers, but this is rare. Topics. Basics. According to Fayol, management operates through 5 basic functions: planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating and controlling. Planning, deciding what needs to happen in the future and generating action plans, deciding in advance. Organizing, or staffing, making sure the human and non-human resources are put into place. Commanding, or leading, determining what must be done in a situation and getting people to do it. Coordinating, creating a structure through which an organization's goals can be accomplished. Controlling, checking progress against plans. Basic roles. Interpersonal, roles that involve coordination and interaction with employees. Figurehead, leader, liaison. Informational, roles that involve handling, sharing, and analyzing information. Nerve center, disseminator, spokesperson. Decision, roles that require decision-making. Entrepreneur, negotiator, allocator, disturbance handler. Skills. Management skills include political, used to build a power base and to establish connections. Interpersonal, used to communicate, motivate, mentor and delegate. Diagnostic, ability to visualize appropriate responses to a situation. Leadership, ability to communicate a vision and inspire people to embrace that vision. Cross-cultural leadership, the ability to understand the effects of culture on leadership style. Behavioral, perception towards others, conflict resolution, time management, self-improvement, stress management and resilience, patience, clear communication. Implementation of policies and strategies. All policies and strategies must be discussed with all managerial personnel and staff. Managers must understand where and how they can implement their policies and strategies. An action plan must be devised for each department. Policies and strategies must be reviewed regularly. Contingency plans must be devised in case the environment changes. Top-level managers should carry out regular progress assessments. The business requires team spirit and a good environment. The missions, objectives, strengths, and weaknesses of each department must be analyzed to determine their roles in achieving the business's mission. The forecasting method develops a reliable picture of the business's future environment. A planning unit must be created to ensure that all plans are consistent and that policies and strategies are aimed at achieving the same mission and objectives. Policies and strategies in the planning process. They give mid and lower level managers a good idea of the future plans for each department in an organization. A framework is created whereby plans and decisions are made. Mid and lower level management may add their own plans to the business's strategies. Thank you for watching this video.